Hello, fellow peasants. So today we're going to be talking about The Witch from 2015, directed by Robert Eggers, and whether you should upgrade to the 4K or stick with the standard Blu-ray. Okay, guys, so I like The Witch. It's a really good movie. I used to own it on just the standard Blu-ray, but then eventually I upgraded and I went and got the 4K. Now, this is the most widely available 4K that there is. You can get this on Amazon pretty cheap. Sometimes $10, $15 you can get this on Amazon. Robert Eggers did not have a hand in this transfer. This is the most wide release transfer that there is, and it's done by Lionsgate. For the most part, I will say I enjoy the transfer, this version of the transfer. But unfortunately, there are some scenes where the HDR is off. It's not quite doing its job. It looks very weird. So for example, all the way up until the last scene of the film, this transfer, it does a great job. It is a great job. But the last scene of the film, where it's the darkest, and you rely on the HDR to really pull things out and make things look good and accurate, it fails on that level. And with this film, the third act in this film is everything. And so if the third act doesn't look good or as good as it could, that's a big issue that I have with this transfer. You know, I like that severely impacts my view on this transfer. And so what am I talking about? So the last scene where she's walking through the woods and she meets the witches, and after Black Phillip talks to her and all that, there's a weird greenish, there's like, it's very hard to describe, but it looks really faded out, very I don't have a great way to describe it. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't, the blacks aren't inky. Something looks like, okay, great example here. If you guys have seen the new artwork for the new Exorcist 4K, the color grading in the last scene of this film looks like the color palette on the front of that new Exorcist 4K release with Reagan, like, you know, with her face like that. Does not look good. There's something weird, greenish, orangish going on. Something isn't, the HDR is not doing what it needs to do with the lighting in this third act. And that severely impacts my enjoyment of this transfer. Now, is all hope lost? No, because with this also comes the standard Blu-ray and a digital copy, which on Vudu I can switch back and forth between UHD and regular HD. And to be honest, guys, until I can get my hands on the better transfer, which does exist, which Eggers did oversee, it's very hard to get. It's really expensive. You can probably find it on eBay somewhere, but they're probably going to want $100 for it. I just watched this movie in standard Blu-ray. It sucks because I upgraded. I went and paid for the movie again, hoping that this would be an excellent transfer, which it is 80% of the way through. But once you get to that last scene, which is what this movie is, a slow burn film. The whole movie builds up to this third act. I know I keep saying this, but this is a very important thing. You probably think, well, fuck, 80% of the movie looks good. Yes, but this is a slow burn film where the payoff, the whole point you watch this film, the whole reason you watch this film is for the final act. And if it looks like shit, it doesn't look right, the color grading's off, it's just weird and washed out looking, I'm sorry, that ruins the transfer for me, because that's my favorite part of the movie. So, yeah, I would say it is not worth the upgrade for this particular Lionsgate transfer. It is not worth the upgrade. If you have a standard Blu-ray of The Witch, keep that. It's just as good. It's actually better. The night scenes in the film look better in the third act. Much inkier blacks, better contrast. It's not washed out like this is. So keep your Blu-ray until you can get your hands on the transfer that Robert Eggers did, or if they come out with one in the future that looks good as well. But this is not worth the upgrade. I basically just bought another Blu-ray, in my opinion, because that's all I'm watching now is just the standard Blu-ray for this, because I can't stand how washed out the third act looks. Clarity's there. The clarity's there. The clarity is an uptick. There is clarity uptick in this versus the Blu-ray, but not noticeable enough that it warrants watching how washed out the third act is in this film. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. Have a good one, peasants. Peace out. Bye-bye.